General admission says Belichick wants to keep his legacy intact. It makes sense for him to go to San Francisco for a year to slow down the KC dynasty. I think it makes sense to go to San Francisco for a year because Bill Belichick has coached in the NFL every single season since 1975. And is he really going to yuck it up on TV with a bunch of people that don't know football the way he does? I don't see that.
I don't see that.
He's not coaching.
All right. You know what? I want to give you your flowers, man. You were the first person to put out the Belichick as a DC narrative.
Oh, and I got ripped.
At the time, you got lambasted. I'm talking about they raked you over the coals. And I just find it funny that nobody is coming back to apologize or to say to you, Larry, you were the first person to bring up Bill Belichick. I brought it up and thought it was a bad take. Everybody brought it up, and nobody's going to sit here and tell you to your face, you were right. You were right simply because you had the balls to raise the issue and get dunked on by that. Yo, that tweet got hundreds of thousands of views. There are hundreds of thousands of people that went on top of you, that stood on top of your head and dunked on you. And now that everybody that's just the skeevy, nasty world of Twitter and the sports world. Like, nobody wants to say, well, a month ago, Larry did bring this up, and we all kind of laughed at him. So I want to give you your flowers, man, because I said this. That happened to me about Chase. I said I hated the Chase trade, and who the fuck, you don't know what the hell you're talking about, and who are you? And it's like, here we are. You know what I'm saying? So, you get your flowers, Larry.
Well, it's funny
talking about Bill Belichick.
My 14-year-old came up to me. He's like, Dad, you've had some bad takes, but this is the worst take of all. And I'm like,
you and your son?
And my 14-year-old, he's like, Dad, this is the worst take of all. And I said, you know what? I'm just saying it's not crazy because I think Belichick really wants to coach. And I think Shanahan and the Niners, if they lose, are going to need, I mean, think about it. If the Niners are going to get people excited, you can't fire Steve Wilkes and replace him with Daniel Sorensen. I mean, there's going to be some guys in the room that are going to be like, really? But if you replaced him with Bill Belichick, everybody's on board. Everybody's on board. Now, I don't know that Belichick, it would take a huge ego. He'd have to seriously minimize his ego, and so would Kyle, right? Because Kyle would look, there'll be people saying Kyle couldn't get it done without Belichick if he gets it done with him. Belichick's going to be, have people going, dude, you're a defensive coordinator now. But I think he's all about ball. I think you can pay him whatever you want. I'd pay him $10 million a year, 12. Kyle's making 14.
So let me ask you this. This is one thing that I don't think people realize.
Pay him whatever he wants.
Coach Belichick and Kyle actually have a very good relationship.
Right.
They really like each other. And one of the reasons why Coach Belichick even felt okay with Jimmy leaving is the fact that he was going to the 49ers, that he was at least going to be with Kyle. So there's a lot of respect between them. So you know what? Could it be that Coach Belichick, Uncle Bill, needs to come in and kind of put Kyle on his knee and say, hey, listen, kid, this is where you're kind of failing in some of your areas of game processing. There's not a better game manager than Bill Belichick. You know what I'm saying? If there's anybody who knows how to understand and dot all the I's and cross all the T's and understand situational football, literally what's happening in the moment, Bill Belichick would be huge for Kyle if he could get him in the building, because then that would be somebody that Kyle can't push around. And it would also be somebody
and wouldn't try.
It wouldn't try, right? And it would be somebody who also, when he talked, it would not have to be a lot and everybody would listen. And you need that in a room with Kyle Shanahan and John Lynch and Bobby Turner and Chris Kasarik. You need a stronger voice, a guy that's been there. I feel like, in a way, maybe this coaching staff could gain from getting like an experienced guy like Coach Belichick in there to kind of look at their organization and say, hey guys, here are some of the things that I've been doing over the past couple of years that I had on my run. And, you guys are kind of missing the boat right here in your practice scripts. Or, hey, these are some of the situational things that you guys need to kind of be ready for on a week-to-week basis in games, or helping Kyle out with knowing how to pace guys out with injuries, how to being okay with sitting down Dre Greenlaw. I mean, that's something that I feel like is one of the nastiest things that we are not talking about, is the fact that Dre Greenlaw's Achilles injury was a fluke injury. That was not a fluke injury. That was a calculated risk by the team to keep playing him. Dre Greenlaw had been hurt with that Achilles for months, and they were managing that thing. He should have sat out in the playoffs, right? These are things that you need an older coach that actually has a lot of vigor left and vitality, right? As a coach that can sit Kyle down and make him listen to him. Because quite frankly, I'll say this before you go, being away from football really hurts you as far as your perspective, your eye, and what you can expect. Kyle can't only keep going to his dad. He's got to get somebody who literally is still coaching now. I think that would help him.
Harbaugh had Brad Seeley, right? Harbaugh was maniacal on the sidelines, but he had Brad Seeley. Brad Seeley was a calm veteran coach who was there and helped him manage games. Kyle really needs two things here. He needs a defensive coordinator, and he needs an in-game respected voice to help him make decisions in-game about a number of different things. I think Belichick could be both. I really do.
2-for-1.
I think he could be a 2-for-1. He could be the guy that's on the headsets that helps you make smart decisions about game management, and he could be your defensive coordinator. And Kyle makes $14 million. Belichick made $25. I would say to Belichick, hey, here's $25 million, 2-year deal, $12.5 a year. Come in, be the defensive coordinator. Let's win a ring. The only reason I think it could work is that both Kyle and Belichick would have to minimize their egos and to make this work. And so I think if it was just about Kyle's ego, it'd be one thing. If it was just about Belichick's ego, it'd be one thing. But in reality, they both have to show some vulnerability to one another, and both have to, kind of subvert their egos to make this a working thing. I think it's far and away the best decision they could possibly make. Mr. Bay Area says bring in Mike Holmgren for OC or head coach. Mike Holmgren is in his mid-70s. I heard him on the radio.
Done.
Yeah, he's retired.